Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulphur Blade, and I am here. Well, we're back on the same story again. Donald Trump denouncing or not denouncing white supremacists. You see, yesterday, or my last video, I did a video of talking about the Proud Boys and how the Proud Boys are not white supremacists. Well, reporters have gone off the deep end yet again today, including one from Fox, who just made a complete utter ass out of himself, and I'll show you that in a few seconds. Where he's basically implying that President Trump has not denounced white supremacy. Well, he did. Let's go ahead and watch the debate, shall we?
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing?
So, the vice president, Joe Biden, has been as silent as a church mouse. He's been fucking crickets about not calling out Antifa and Black Lives Matter. He hasn't said jack diddly squat. No Democrat has said jack diddly squat.
Tonight, to condemn white supremacists and militia groups. And
you hear that? Did you hear that? Let me play that again.
Supremacists and militia groups. And
did you hear that? That's a sure. The question is asked and answered. But Chris Wallace can't help himself. He needs to somehow paint this left-wing narrative BS. He's already gotten the fucking answer. President Trump said sure. Sure is an affirmative. Sure is yes. Yes means sure. Sure means yes. They all mean the same fucking thing. But he goes on
to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
So he's already heard the sure, right? Chris Wallace has already gotten an answer. But he had to keep asking the question. He had to add on to the question. He had to add all of this left-wing nonsense onto it. And what did President Trump just say? He said, sure, again.
And as we've seen in Portland. Are you prepared to...
Sure, I'm willing to do that. And then he puts in a but. And the but is because of all the extra crap that Chris Wallace had to tack on to the end of it.
Specifically,
do it.
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what do you?
And the but is him pointing out that the left is causing all the violence in the country, which is, again, correct. It's spot on. It's Black Lives Matter. It's Antifa. They're the people burning fucking people's businesses down. They're the people fucking burning people's homes down. They're the people who are killing people. Not any right-wing extremist groups. The Proud Boys, the only thing the Proud Boys do is they will go and combat Antifa. They will do the job of the cops, basically, seeing as Democrats in this country want to defund the police everywhere. So if the police aren't going to be able to fucking do the job, citizens need to do the job. How many statues were ripped down? How much of our history was lost because of these jackasses? But let's continue to watch.
What are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace, he says. And Chris Wallace is like, then do it, sir. He's already said sure fucking twice, Chris. What more does he need to do? Well, that's about where they're going to go with that now. What more does he need to do?
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a name.
At this point, he's got to be frustrated, right? He's like, who do you want me to denounce? I already said sure fucking twice. You know, it's like, do these morons not have ears?
Biden
said Proud Boys. Biden says, I want you to condemn the Proud Boys. What does Trump do?
Boys, stand back and stand by, but I'll tell you what.
And that's the correct answer. Why is that the correct answer? Because as we've already fucking gone over, the Proud Boys are not a white supremacist group. He should not have to condemn a group that's not a white supremacist group. The whole narrative of this supposed plot line is that he needs to condemn white supremacists, which he's already done twice. He already said sure fucking twice. But these morons don't have ears or understand what sure means, evidently. But I digress. Now, let's watch this. The reason I'm doing this video.
To start off, I'd like to ask you for a definitive and declarative statement without ambiguity or deflection. As the person who speaks for the president, does the president denounce white supremacism and groups that espouse it in all their forms?
This has been answered yesterday by the president himself, the day before by the president himself on the debate stage. The president was asked this. He said sure 3 times. Yesterday, he was point blank asked, do you denounce white supremacy? And he said, I've always denounced any form of that. I can go back and read for you in August 2019, in one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. In August of 2017, racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups. I have an entire list of these quotes that I can go through with you. He has condemned white supremacy more than any president in modern history.
But just to clear it up.
This fucker is just as deaf as Chris Wallace and Joe Biden, evidently. His ears can't seem to understand what Kayleigh McEnany just said. And what she just said is that, yes, he's denounced it multiple times. Are you deaf?
This morning, can you, naming it, make a declarative statement that you denounce, that the president denounces it?
I just did. The president has denounced this repeatedly. The president was...
At this point, he's badgering her. And why? What's the purpose of this badgering? Other than to paint some fucking stupid picture to try to make the president look bad, when we already know he's denounced white supremacy several fucking times.
Ask this. You're contriving a storyline and a narrative.
Asking you to put this to rest.
I just did. I read you all of the quotes, and if you need to see them in writing, I will put them in an email. Paula.
So, Kayleigh, can you right now denounce white supremacy and the groups that espouse it?
The president has denounced white supremacy, the KKK, and hate groups in all forms. He signed a resolution to that effect. The president just last week, perhaps you all weren't covering it, but just last week expressed his desire to see the KKK prosecuted as domestic terrorists. This president had advocated for the death penalty for a white supremacist, the first federal execution in 17 years. His record on this is unmistakable, and it's shameful that the media...
Yep, it's shameful. Now, watch this.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke.
When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
How many times do I have to reject? I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
About the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
All right. So, there you have it. Trump has, as Kayleigh McEnany, she's got a tough voice, tough name to say, if you gotta be honest. Anyway, as she has said, President Trump has likely condemned white supremacy more than any other president ever in history. This shit's ridiculous. And guess what? Guess who hasn't condemned Antifa or Black Lives Matter? That's right, Joe Biden. It's still crickets. If I was a better YouTuber, I would have a crickets noise going right now. But I'm not that good. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Selferblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, all. Peace.